Hello, and welcome to another episode of A Few Minutes with Marvin. I inspire those who aspire to make positive changes in their lives. So I want to talk today about soul contracts. And some of you may be familiar with soul contracts, other of you may not be. But typically, what was known as a soul contract is, because we're spiritual beings having a temporary experience, that means we chose to be into this physical body right now. But before we decided to come into this physical body, some of us got together and said, all right, somewhere along your journey, I'm going to show up and I'm going to help you do this, right? Or somewhere along the journey, I'm going to come into your life and really be a thorn in your side. And we're going to be enemies throughout this journey, even if it's for a short period of time. Or, even I'm going to be your mother, I'm going to be your father, I'm going to be your brother, or, I'm going to be your best friend, or I'm going to be somebody that you hate, right? That's done in the ethereal realm, let's call it, that our souls got together and made these pacts, right? So when you meet somebody now in your life and throughout your life, it wasn't a coincidence. It's almost like, this was already pre-planned, and some people don't believe in determinism or predestination. But, I do. And I was in that category before. I didn't believe it. But the more I'm on my journeys, the more I really realize that nothing is a coincidence. Everything's a synchronicity. And even if it wasn't pre-planned, you can't make this shift up. Let's call it a shift. So meeting people in your life on a daily basis is, I think, part of our journey. But unfortunately, along the way, we've forgotten that we're meant to be here to do something. Right, to learn a lesson, to have these experiences, and not judge them, good or bad. Just be in them in the moment, and that really ties in with this theme today, because the people that you meet, it really isn't a coincidence. And again, even if the situation wasn't favorable, let's call it favorable. We don't have to label things negative or positive today. But even if you don't feel that it was for a reason, well, it was. Somewhere in the deep recesses of your soul wanted you to have this experience with this other individual, this group of people, with your parents, with your family members, with your friends, so that you can have whatever interaction, right? And whatever lesson is meant to be taught there. So again, even if you categorize it as a bad day, was it really a bad day? Stop and think about it. What did I learn? What did this beautiful soul, or what does the other person bring into my now moment that I didn't realize before about myself? Because again, it's all about you. This now moment, this journey is all about you, right? And what you're projecting out to other people. So when you do project things out to other people, they're reflecting what you're projecting. So in essence, you're creating these now moments. You're creating these lessons for yourself. Pretty cool, right? To think about it that way. And yeah, when you're in a bad situation, you have to stop and think about what accountability do I have in this situation? What may or may I not have done to facilitate this, to encourage this behavior in somebody else, or in the outburst in myself? What am I missing? What didn't I heal within myself? So that's part of what our soul contract is with ourselves and other people. Other souls have soul contracts with us, right, to help us in certain moments, or to be there to facilitate these changes, so you can make transformations and really experience this now, this life, right? But we also have soul contracts for other people where we are in their space and we're there for them in whatever reason or whatever experience that they need to experience and process and heal from, right? But because of free will, sometimes we don't heal from it because there's a lot of duality involved. There's ego involved. There's judgment involved. There's, what we were taught is right or wrong involved. That really shifts your experience. So now's the time for you to unshift, right? To start realizing that when I'm in a situation, instead of giving it a label of good or bad, why can't I just be there, right? And just be in that moment. And to some extent enjoy it, right? Even if it has a negative connotation to it. Just say, let me get through this. At the end of the day, I'll sit down and process it and figure out what it was there for, what it really means. And if I can't figure it out, guess what? I have a soul contract commitment with somebody who's meant to help me through this now, right? So you may go to the grocery store and somebody will just come up to you and say, have a nice day. And boom, that shifted your reality. That shifted your mindset. That shifted your mood. Or, you see something funny happen in front of you. All of a sudden, instead of frowning all day, you're laughing. Well, guess what? You had a soul contract with that soul. You may never see them again. You may never have said a word to them. But something in them shifted your mood that in that now moment. And that's a cool part about it. And as it relates to what I'm doing, because those of you that have been following me for a while know that I'm just journeying around the United States. I've been doing it for, God, it's almost 10 months now. I can't even believe it's been that long. But I got to tell you, the amount of people that I have met, and I don't even call them people anymore. They're all souls. Everybody's a soul to me. Along the way, it's mind-boggling to me. And I'm really upset with myself because I haven't written this down in a journal, because it will make a good book or a good video or a good movie for sure. So now I'm in the state of Texas, and I don't even know what brought me to Texas. But I was here and I'm wondering, what am I doing in Texas? Well, cut to a couple weeks later after being in Texas and roaming around, but I'm meeting really cool people, and those people were meant to be in my life, and I was meant to be in their life because I'm shifting my reality, right? I'm just staying in a positive frame of mind, positive mindset, no worry mindset, and that's really energetically shifting everybody that I meet. And that's not ego, that's the reality, because I am intending to stay in my light and my love and spread love, right? And it's difficult, because there are moments in your life, in your now moment, that makes you question. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, what am I doing in Texas? I have no idea what I'm doing in Texas, who am I supposed to do it with? But I just, in that moment, just realized, look, just go with it. Go with the flow, right? I'm here for a reason. I don't know what reason that is. I don't have to know what reason that is. I just need to trust. And then stay in my positive mind space, and know that I'm a powerful being and a manifester, and things are going to show up when they're supposed to. And stay tuned, right? God is a frequency, so stay tuned. Source, universe, however you connect to the one source. So I've been doing that consistently, and some cool stuff has been coming into me energetically. I'm just going with it and sitting with it. But I've met some people here in Texas, and I got to tell you, throughout this video, I'm putting pictures and stuff about these cool people that I'm meeting. But they're soul contracts for sure. But they're not just a random one that comes in and out of your life. And they are, they may come in. They've come into my life, and at some point they're going to probably leave or shift, or I'm going to go in a different direction. But I'm enjoying them right now because they're some powerful beings, powerful souls. And they've been with me through my journey, and they're helping me through, and I'm doing the same for them, not even trying. And that's what a soul contract is, right? We've already planned this as souls. Now we're just remembering, and the more you raise your frequencies and your energy levels, the more it becomes very crystal clear that this is exactly where you're supposed to be in this now moment with the people you're meant to be with. And it's so cool. For example, I'm in Central Texas right now, and I'm helping this beautiful soul that I met. She's got a crystal shop, and she's at this trade show. And so she invited me along to come help her, put her crystals and sell stuff. And she brought another couple people that I met, and instant bond. It's just instant bond because, I'm in a state where I'm always positive. So all I'm bringing into my now space is positive, but not just positive, learning experiences too, because everybody's in different places, and I respect where they are, but still, there's still that little bit of me that has some judgment, right? Why did they do this? Why did they do that? But now, instead of saying, judging them and saying, oh, I would do that differently, it's like, no, they're doing exactly the way they want to. Whether I understand it or not, it doesn't matter. They're where they are in this journey. And my job is just to hold light against it and not judge it. And, and not be quick to give advice, right? Because sometimes people just need to be who they are. And as long as I'm staying in my power and in my sovereignty, I don't have to share the same experience with them, but they need to have that experience. And then when they're ready to ask me for anything or advice or help, I'm free to give it without judgment, just as an observer, or even if they just need a shoulder to cry on or somebody to talk to. And that's been happening a lot lately. But the other cool thing about what I've been doing here, especially at this show, is my intention. You have to set an intention every day. So every day I'm setting intention of just being pure love and just saying hello to everybody and smiling at everybody, right? And the energy around me is, from my perspective, is shifting big time. I went this morning to get a chai latte, and I'm just, as I'm walking around, I'm just saying hi to people, everybody, petting dogs, and of course hugging trees when I can, and just being myself, or I'll stop and I'll do, one of my asana poses because, I'm just in the moment. So this morning I was walking around the corner and I just had a big smile on my face. I'm just loving life. I really am. And a gentleman's walking towards me. Before I could say hi, he goes, "You are so happy." And I'm like, yes, I am happy. And that made my day. Although I was already having a good day, I think I shifted his mindset for the day just by being me, being in my own zone, minding my P's and Q's, but in a way that projected out to everybody else. And yesterday I was walking through a barn. They have these big barns with all kinds of vendors, and a gentleman said, "You're the guy that was meditating over there." And I'm like, yeah, I am that guy, because I own it. I don't hide what I do anymore, and neither should you. And that's the point of the soul contracts, is to really be in your space, but you have to make sure that you've done the work on yourself to be in a positive space, so that when you do that, the energies around you will shift, and the soul contracts that are meant to be in that moment with you are going to shine with you. And then you start shining your light, and then they'll take that on and shine it onto a different soul contract that they have, that may be a longer term soul contract, and it'll help them shift their reality, right? But as you're doing this, your soul is waking up and going, whoa, wait a minute. I'm supposed to be doing this. This is what I'm meant to be doing, and you can take that and really integrate it into your life. So if you want to manifest something, now you're giving that thing positive energy. You're giving it the ability to create and to come into your now moment, because soul contracts, they can work both ways. If you allow yourself to go into a negative soul contract, then that's going to spark them to bring back negativity to you, because what you put out, you get back. So anytime, you have to start realizing when you're starting to get into a negative mood and you want to lash out at somebody, just realize you're lashing out at that person. You're lashing out at yourself. You got to start figuring out why it is that you want to do that, right? So that you can shift. But just know that you've just created a karmic debt there for somebody else, because they're going to go out and be negative to somebody else, and they're going to be negative to somebody else. And it's about time we have to stop this. So it's about time to wake yourself up, wake your soul up, right? And stop this shift. Make it a positive shift. Anytime you you're in a negative vibration, negative state of mind, even if it just slips out, just stop yourself in the moment and recognize that it did, right? And set an intention to shift it right there. Stop yourself, realize what it is that has caused it, and sit with yourself instead of projecting it onto somebody else, because it's only going to boomerang and come back to you and keep coming back to you. It becomes a cycle. It really does become a vicious cycle. So it's time to shift yourself out of that cycle, and only you can do it. But it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of mindset shifts. But the cool part about it is that you're not alone. Even a random person that says hi to you in the street that you have no idea who it is, that person has a soul contract with you for that specific moment to give you the option to shift, right? Because again, we have free will. So you have to stop yourself in that moment and decide not to do that, or just shift your mindset about it. Because if you don't, then it's not a good or bad thing, but you're just going to be in that cycle, in a continuous loop. And until you decide to shift it in the moment and consciously go in a different direction, you're going to just keep in that loop. I found that out the hard way. Well, there is no hard way. I just found it out, and I've experienced it multiple times over my lifetime. And I have a video on that about, getting stuck in habits and stuck in, on that hamster wheel. It's very real, and you're the only one keeping you there. And it took me a long time to get there. And I'm trying to help you shift, a little bit faster, if that's possible. So if this resonates with you, please leave a comment. If you like the contents of this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and share the contents, with other soul contract people, because we're in a soul contract with other people. It could be for a minute, it could be for 20 years, it could be for 50 years, it could be with your soulmate or your twin flame. Those are all soul contracts. But it's so cool because I'm meeting so many people out here. I met a young man who had a tattoo of New Jersey on his hand, and this is in Texas, and he's, 20 years old. And I asked, where in New Jersey are you from? He named the town of Passaic. That's where his father was born and raised. Well, guess what? I wasn't born in Passaic, but I grew up, first part of my life was in Passaic, New Jersey. And I'm in Texas, Central Texas. How does that happen? It doesn't. He and I have a soul contract. And then I went to an Airbnb not too long ago as well, up in central northern Texas. And I meet a gentleman who's been living out here, most of his life now, but he was born in the same town in Virginia that I went to college in. Coincidence? No way. Not a chance. So start looking at those things and the people that do come into your life. And it's not to stay stuck on it. And so what am I supposed to be doing? Who is this person? Just go with it, right? Whether it's, a good or bad situation, again, no labeling here, but, even if it was a negative situation in the moment, go, well, this person was in my life in that moment to teach me a lesson. What is it? Right? And then thank that beautiful soul for fulfilling its contract with you, right? Again, doesn't matter the situation, but they were there for that reason, that specific moment, and it could be just for a moment or it could be for a lifetime. But just appreciate them. And then when you're in somebody else's life, just know that they're going to appreciate you for fulfilling your soul contract with them. It's all about being mindful of it and thinking about it. Just stop and think about it. Whether you understand it or not, just start shifting your mindset to the possibilities and being open to receiving whatever comes, and whoever comes in your life, that's your soul contract. And it could be, 30 people in your lifetime. It could be 1,000 people in your lifetime. But embrace it and just recognize that it's there. They're there for a reason. You're there in their lives for a reason. And it's up to you on how you can make that go. Whatever situation it is, how are you going to experience it? Stop yourself before you talk, right? Because what you think, you create. So shift from, creating negative issues and situations or people in your life into saying, no, I understand it. I'm grateful for the experience. Thank you so much. Because gratitude is the key, Always have an attitude of gratitude. And you're going to see so many things shift in your life, And if you want to label it positive, you're going to see a lot of positive things coming your way. The more positivity you project, and it's a mind shift, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. But once you start paying attention to it, and start recognizing it in the moment, you're going to create a new habit for yourself, and then you're just going to one day go, wow, I haven't said a negative thing ever, or I haven't attracted a negative person or situation into my life in so long. Well, you did that, and congratulate yourself. Acknowledge yourself for it, and thank the people, the souls that were a part of it, in whatever capacity they came in, and your life, the rest of your time here as a physical being is going to be amazing, and you're gonna make other people's lives amazing too. So make that shift. Shift happens. Go with it. Go with the flow. Take leaps of faith, and have an amazing day. And if you're having trouble or struggling with judgment of yourself, other people, negative energies, negative thoughts, anything like that's keeping you from your true self, true soul purpose, and even if you have some soul contract people that you're not sure how to deal with, I am a transformational life coach, spiritually based. Please check out my website down below in the description, or also send me an email. Let's get a 30-minute free decompression session so that we can get you to the root of your problems, or find you some solutions, or even show you ways to identify who is your soul contract and what that looks like for you. So thank you for spending a few minutes with me.